how having a complicated or traumatic childhood can set you up for success. Did you know that the Surgeon General has actually also linked childhood trauma to lowered brain development and even poor health as an adult? So, how does this happen? How is it that if you have childhood trauma, it can be the catalyst to set you up for success and become an incredible entrepreneur, or it can actually even shorten your lifespan? The difference is your daily habits and how you break through it.
Wow, Crystal. So you don't need to let them control you. You are in control of your destiny. Your past is not what defines your future. So this is how you can manage your life based on these daily habits.
That's right. So again, there's a little something called ACE score, Adverse Childhood Experiences. It's 10 questions, and it's based on the research from our Surgeon General, Nadine Burke. And what it shows is if you answer yes to 6 or more, it actually puts you at risk for even physical disease, let alone actually struggling with stress or anxiety, something like that. So again, I want to know if you're out there, are you ready for your breakthrough? Because the reality is, regardless of whether or not you are a former foster youth, current foster youth, student, or entrepreneur, anyone who faces adversity is in for a treat, because today is all about how you take it to the next level. Now, look, you may be wondering, all right, Crystal, you talked to me a lot about how to take things to the next level. I hear you. Look, I do, and I will. But the reality is, I want this to be a special experience for you. We have a former foster youth who's going to share their story with us. And I hope that this story will become a catalyst for you to see the daily habits on how you can self-soothe. As an entrepreneur or student or even former foster youth, the reality is we deal with adversity every single day. And so while childhood adversity creates incredible entrepreneurs and gives you the life experiences to mold you into who you are today, whether you are a former foster youth or just somebody who has experienced a hard childhood, the chances are is that's the defining feature that's going to set you up for success. Look at Elon Musk. He had a terrible childhood. He had Asperger's. He left home at 17 against his parents' wishes. Look at Richard Branson, dyslexic. The Skinny Girl founder, Bethany Frankel, grew up an alcoholic mother and an absent father. And Oprah Winfrey has really spoke in depth about being born into poverty and suffering from childhood abuse. So if you have been out there and you struggled with it, I don't want you to feel alone. And if you're out there and you haven't been in the foster care system, but there was something that happened when you were younger, I want you to pay attention, because this is National Foster Care Month. That's why we're coming to you with this. But this is really about helping you break through and have the daily habits that set you up for success.
That's so good, Crystal, and really just honing down on that breakthrough. And let me tell you, Crystal, she has, unlocked the superpowers. At age 11, Crystal was abandoned in the foster care system, destined for greatness. And with her fearless attitude and ongoing commitment to personal growth, she was able to earn 2 master's degrees, started and managed a social media firm for 7 years, where she was able to work all over the world, helping businesses grow their online presence. Wrote a book, Grit and Gratitude, launched a nonprofit, thefoster.org, and now she is a digital marketing lead here at the Victoria Advocate. So Crystal has said, she deals with anxiety, but now she shares the good news about how anyone and everyone can overcome anxiety through self-care.
That's absolutely right. Thank you so much for that, Kyle. I am absolutely humbled to be here today. As one of the people who made it or beat the odds, I want to be able to share my story and help as many people as possible. So yes, I wrote the book, Grit and Gratitude, the former foster youth playbook for adulting. And I've gotten several comments that people who were not in the foster care system got so much out of this. I actually break down 10 biohacks that actually help you put yourself in a peak state. Things like exercise, meditation, breath work, relationships, forgiveness, creativity, nature, you name it, it's in here. The things I did every day that helped me break through and calm my mind and calm my body. And now I'm able to give away 3 free copies today because of you, Kyle. Kyle Motal, owner of Ranchwood and digital marketing consultant at Victoria Advocate, has bought 3 copies. So if you're out there and you want to participate and watch this, I want you to comment in the chat, because the people who participate the most get 3 free signed author copies. So thank you for that, Kyle. We are excited to bring this to the masses and help as many people as possible. Again, it is National Foster Care Month. So speaking of foster care, I want to bring someone special to the stage. Miss Sarah Thurman, will you come on and help people understand how trauma unlocks superpowers? Thank you so much for being here. Miss Sarah, let's tell everybody a little bit about what you do. You're the student success coach, UNIV instructor, and foster care liaison for UHV. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with Crystal and Kyle talking about foster care services that we have to offer here at the University of Houston, Victoria. And Crystal talks about unlocking superpowers. And one of the things I like to add to that mix, especially when we have students coming in as first gen or former foster care youth, is that you don't know what you don't know. We don't know what to ask. We don't know where to go. We have no idea what's happening. We're moving into this new platform and realm of education. There's new terminology, there's new people, and we're just all over the place. And so one of the best support services that UHV has to offer is a foster care liaison, which is me. And so anytime students have questions and they don't know where to go, they can come to me and I can help get them to who they need to connect with on campus.
That's right, because taking action is easy when you know what to do. And so one of the things we've talked about time and time again here is get a mentor. Find somebody to ask a question and get the actual answers that's going to skyrocket your success and make you leaps and bounds above your peers or speed you up years in the decision making and the progress because somebody told you what to do who knew what to do. You didn't run into a brick wall doing 100 miles an hour. So Sarah, you are the one who prevents people from running into a brick wall 100 miles an hour. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. And today's all about helping people understand how to overcome the odds by sharing the story for the National Foster Care Month. And since UHV has tremendous resources for foster youth, yourself included, I wanted to make sure you were here to help share the good news. So may I share just a little bit about my experience and how I went to college? And then I want you to kind of compare and contrast with maybe how things have changed or what the experience will be like at UHV. Does that sound good, Sarah?
That sounds great.
All right, let's do this. So when I was 16 or so, 17, 18, I'd never heard of college. And somebody said to me, look, if you go to this place called college, they actually pay for your housing. And so as a person who was facing homelessness, that was very exciting to me. I was going to emancipate out of the foster care system at 18 and have nothing and no one. Little did I know, 10 days before my high school graduation, my foster parent died. And so I really had nothing and no one. But leading up to that moment, I started applying to colleges and I got this acceptance letter in particular in the mail. And I opened it up and confetti popped out. I was so excited. Okay, I won the lotto. I remember vacuuming up that with a big old smile on my face and getting that confetti clean because I was going to college and it was going to be free because I won and confetti popped out, right? So I went down there. There's a whole story. How do I even get there? I show up, I go to the registration event, you go to each of the tables, you pick your dorms and pick your meal plan. And then the very last table, they take your money and they say, okay, so your very first payment is $680 a month. And I was shocked. I mean, as a person who had $324 to my name and no employment prospects on the horizon, $680 was crippling. And so I really felt almost like I had been duped. I felt defeated before I started. And so anyways, I committed to getting 2 to 3 jobs, which I did. And I paid $680 a month, working 60 to 80 hours, putting myself through college and fighting for housing and facing homelessness every time the dorms closed for spring break or winter break or the summer. But it was very, very hard to keep a roof over my head, even though I was still in school. So that's kind of how it is still, right, Sarah?
Luckily, things have changed. So now we have lots of resources available for former foster youth, emancipated students, adopted students, or students that get to check yes to this question on the FAFSA. So as students go out and fill out their FAFSA and get ready for scholarships and financial aid and the daunting task of paying for college, one of these questions that they do get to check yes on offers them a free tuition waiver from the state. So tuition is covered, and our financial aid department is amazing at working with students that check yes on this question and offer additional scholarships and grants and resources. We also have housing that covers both the summer, fall, winter breaks, and students can stay on campus. They no longer have to leave in between the breaks. In addition to the FAFSA scholarships that we offer and staying on campus, we also have wonderful resources on campus like JP's Market. JP's Market has all sorts of donations from community members. It covers toiletries, non-perishable food items. It has just about anything and everything you could need to help with your dorm room and keep you set and with food or anything you need, basically. Food's my favorite part, so I'm going to talk about food a lot. It's my favorite thing to do. We also have our career closet, which is about, it's also, it's hosted by our career services, but it's donations from the community. So students can go there and they can get suits or business clothes when they go to interviews and different things. Our career services department also has a partnership with JCPenney's, and our students can go and get clothing items that they need at a reduced price.
And
We have.
And just to chime in, this is so important. I can't tell you, I had interviews and I had nothing to wear. You know, I was hungry and I had no money for food, let alone toiletries. You know, I mean, it was every single day was a struggle to get dressed, to get out, you know, let alone just put a smile on your face, but let alone figure out how I'm going to feed myself. I remember rationing out my top ramens so I could eat for the week because I had to get the lowest meal plan because I couldn't afford anything, you know? And so being literally hungry is a very real struggle for these foster youth. So keep going. I just had to chime in because this is just so powerful. Please. What else do we have through UHV for foster youth?
No, I love it. Chime in all the time. In addition to JP's Market and the Career Closet and JCPenney's, we have student work on campus. So we have several departments on campus, whether it be work study or non-work study. We offer a variety of jobs, anywhere from the library, the computer lab, the Student Success Center has tutors. We have all sorts of work on campus. There, again, housing during the breaks, which I can't say enough about. Our housing department is amazing about making sure students have a place to stay, whether or not school is in session. And then we also have scholarships. I work with our financial aid department all the time on scholarships, and I have to brag on them. I had 2 young ladies that contacted me within the last couple of weeks saying that they were running into a situation where they were going to end up homeless, and the financial aid department was able to find both of them scholarships to cover their housing, so they will have a place for both the summer and fall semester. So I just can't brag on them enough. UHV has so many resources for our students.
Oh man, you make my heart sing. I know we have CASA on the call. I checked our participants. Special shout out to Golden Crescent CASA. You know, people who are serving our foster youth right here. So yeah, like there's Morgan Mueller. Thank you so much for being here. And knowing that you have these resources and they're helping with the young people. I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to share the good news, because I don't think everybody knows what's available for these foster youth. So again, I know we take a little bit of time here to go through this, but I can't emphasize enough that if you're watching and either you're struggling financially or fall into one of these categories, you're in foster care even a day, whatever it is, or you know somebody who is, please consider that there are resources available. So I do see that Dr. D has been dropping in the links for JP Market information, UHV Closets in there, Success Center. Thank you, Rosie. So there's a lot of information coming through for Handshake. So please get connected with these resources. Again, I can't emphasize enough that any and all ages, right, Kyle? It doesn't matter if you're like me and you emancipated way long ago, right? I'm ancient. Or if you're just emancipated, or it doesn't matter what background you are. Again, it has changed. When I was a foster youth and I was exiting the foster care system and I did the FAFSA, I had to answer, yes, I was emancipated foster youth. But that has changed, folks. So now more than ever, if you were in foster care, again, even for a day, you may qualify. You can answer, yes, I was in foster care. Doesn't matter kinship, adopted, foster youth, whatever it is, you may be eligible for free tuition waivers and all of these resources we're talking about. This is huge. Kyle, are you getting pumped over?
Oh, absolutely. I'm super pumped. This is awesome. You know, Sarah, how much resources there are available for, the kids through the foster care system. And so just definitely pouring into them and really showing them the support is just really going to help them boost their confidence and really strive for success, have that breakthrough.
That's right. Absolutely. So many people out there just need an opportunity, and when they get an opportunity, they just need a little guidance. And when they have a little guidance, they just need a little help. And then they turn into incredible, bright, shiny people in this world making a difference. That's right. So if you're out there and you are a former foster youth, you were in foster care for even one day, I want you to go and get connected with Sarah. I want you to be able to look at the FAFSA. I want to see if you're eligible, but you have to answer, yes, you were in the foster care and FAFSA. So that's enough of the housekeeping here. I see Dr. D, he says, you are not alone. We are here to help you succeed. Yes, UHV has such a great, warm, welcoming environment for foster youth. So with that, I think we should talk to some former foster youth, right? So with this, Kyle, you can go ahead and join me for the conclusion. I appreciate you being here. Sarah, how about we talk to Miss Abigail Young? Are you out there? Can you turn on your camera and be with us for this?
Hi.
There you are. I can hear you. I cannot see you. But Miss Abigail Young, oh, there you are. Thank you so much for being here today. Tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of why you're here today.
Well, I am a current student at U of HV, and I was a former foster youth. I entered at 7 years old, and at 18, when I was in high school, my foster mom passed away. And so since her passing away, I had faced a lot of adversity on figuring out where to go to school at, what to do with my life. And now I'm here, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this special event.
Yeah, well, I'm so sorry for your loss. I shared with you previously, like I said, my foster mom also passed away when I was 18. And so it's kind of hard enough to have a hard childhood, but then to have another hard, moment like that it can be crippling to a lot of people. So I'm really excited to talk with you about what you do to de-stress and empower yourself and put you in a peak state, because you are a shining example of resiliency. And I'm so grateful that you're here on the call with us today. So thank you again. Let's, first of all, walk me through this. You just woke up one day and you were like, oh, UHV, right? I'm going to UHV. I'm a traditional 18-year-old student, and I'm just going to do the application because somebody told me to. And it was that clear, right?
No.
No. How did you get introduced to UHV? Walk me through this.
When I actually started at a community college, and at the beginning, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I was at a really low point of my life because I thought, oh my gosh, here I have nobody, I have no family. And it got to the point where I hit a really low point mentally and academically. And then I reached out to an advisor, and that was like 2 years into community college, and nobody told me, well, they're the ones to help you schedule your classes, pick out, what classes you are supposed to pick before you know what you're supposed to major in. And so having that resource then kind of pushed me to learn about UHV and their degree plan that goes hand to hand with the associate's degree that are offered at community colleges. So basically that's what led me here. And, it's really made me kind of be successful in my academic, and I'm really happy with it.
Oh, tell me, and just so everybody knows, you're studying, what program are you in?
So Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences and Legal Assistance and Administration Studies.
That sounds like a career path.
Yes.
I love it. I so love it. I put in the chat, you don't know what you don't know, because that's what Sarah's been saying, right? And that's an example. She didn't know that advising was a thing until she knew advising was a thing, and then she could ask. But if you knew it was a thing from day one, would you have asked on day one?
I mean, if I could go back, I think more so, I think it was just, I felt alone because of the situation I was in. Yeah. And I feel that a lot of kids probably were in the same boat in my situation. And I think that's a kind of a great thing to just ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sarah, is there anything that you would like to ask Miss Abigail?
I just want to preface that she's absolutely amazing and on track, and definitely not the norm for students, period. She's a little go-getter. Way smarter than I am. But Abigail, okay, so you've talked about this where you didn't know talking to advisors were a thing, and so then you started talking to an advisor when you were at a community college. You started looking at your degree plans and formulating options in your mind. So when you made the decision to come to UHV, what kind of formulated that? Why, out of all the different options you had, what formulated UHV? I just want to know what stood out to you on this before we go on to craziness.
Oh, you're muted, Ms. Abigail.
One is that the degree that was being offered, I felt that was an interest that I had, and it kind of made a goal for me to pursue my bachelor's. And since I have the waiver, I felt that was something for me to do. I needed to do that for myself. And on top of that, I just love that it's the smaller classes, the smaller groups. I tend to just work better because I get more one-on-one with a professor versus like a bigger college. And so that was another thing that I really loved about U of HV. And they just seemed very welcoming when I went over and toured a little bit.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's one of the things I love to share too, is the small class sizes, the one-on-one with your instructors. You're not just a number, you really do become an actual person that the instructors get to know. They can walk down the hall and say, hey, Abigail, I saw you in class the other day, or maybe they didn't see you, or don't forget about that essay that's due. So that's one of the things I do love about UHV. And that kind of segues into our next question, and that, how are you dealing with the pandemic? It's a little bit different now than what you're used to and how you got started at UHV. So tell us how you're dealing with that.
Honestly, it was a challenge because I like to meet with people and everything. And I think that was a challenge, kind of having to distance and be, cooped away for a couple weeks, and which turned into a couple months. And so with that being said, it just really it pushed me to just go outside a little bit more, take a breath of fresh air, and the sunlight. I now have a sunlight to my desk to kind of help elevate my mood, enhance it when it's, because it enhances the mood, the light enhances the mood. So
some very real
that's
science
a couple of things I learned about myself that helps me during the pandemic.
I love it. Getting some fresh air, going for a walk, taking some deep breaths, enjoying the sunshine and nature. Somebody should put that in a book somewhere. This is good stuff. Okay, what else? Let me ask you this. What was it that wasn't working during the pandemic? You said you were cooped up. It sounds like that was the main thing. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, because you mentally, you would forget. I mean, I would forget it's because of the pandemic. It wasn't, I kept thinking, well, maybe, we just can't do anything. But it was really just, there's a reason why we can't do anything. It's because there's things that were shut down. There were places you couldn't go out to eat. I mean, you could go and dine. And so I think that was a struggle for me mentally, that I had to really distance, and I don't like to be cooped up too much, or you just get mentally like, into it, and it's not a good thing to be alone all the time either.
No, we are social creatures. So speaking of kind of stress, anxiety, strife, right? Life is full of this. It isn't it funny how life keeps us on our toes, right? This is just a training ground, I tell you. Every time I turn around, I am learning something new. So in those moments where we're being pushed and challenged and stressed and overwhelmed, there's a fight or flight, right, Sarah? Is it fight or flight, or is it fight, flight, or something else?
I like to go with fight, flight, or freeze. So
Freeze.
I've noticed that we have a tendency when we get really stressed, there are the traditional fight, we're going to combat through it, or there's the flight where we're going to run away, but there's also the freeze where we just kind of stay stuck where we're at and we don't know how to get away one way or the other, fighting or fleeing. And so, Abigail, what we want to ask you is, which one of these three do you identify with best?
I would say the fight, because during really stressful times, I like to go on a jog with my dog, or sometimes I do yoga. That was one of the things I love doing at home. You could do it at home, which was nice, especially during the pandemic. YouTube videos, they show a lot of yoga videos and everything. But I like to kind of get it out physically, because it kind of relieves all the emotions and the stress. And so I think that's, for me, that works for me when I'm really stressed out.
Yeah, and there's really some real brain science behind that too. There's what's called a prefrontal cortex, which is the part of us that makes us human, our higher level decision maker, kind of the CEO of your brain. And then you have your reptilian brain back here, which is like managing all of your emotions and such. And so what happens is, when you're feeling like you were, maybe you're stressed or sad or isolated, overwhelmed, your amygdala is the reptilian brain actually comes up here and is like a bodyguard, and it blocks the access to your higher level decision making. And so there's very real brain science that shows, if you go for a run, if I love push-ups, if you do yoga, if you do a wall sit, if you just stand up and stretch. I know one of my favorite colleagues, special shout out to Hunter Follett, he actually does a dance party. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed. So whatever that is, you walk around the block, smile up at the sun, you watch funny cat videos and laugh until you just can't stand it. All of that is washing your brain again and again, and it actually relieves your stress hormones, so you have access to the higher level decision making. So what you described is that you naturally are aware of what helps you soothe, and that you will fight for what you want. I get that. I know for me, I can turn into a workaholic if I'm not careful when I'm stressed, which is a little bit of all three. It's a very special breed of keep yourself busy, right? So you're working and fighting for what you want, and then you freeze because when you're stressed, you can't think, right? Because you're working so hard and you just have to stay where you are. So it's a special breed. I'm an overachiever like you, Miss Abigail, so I get it. Now, okay, so you're a little bit of the fight, but if you're out there and you are a flight or a freeze, again, I want you to know those same strategies we just gave, whether it's a dance party or push-ups, a wall sit, a run or yoga, anything in between, that funny cat videos included, will wash your brain and allow you to break out of that cycle. So thank you so much for sharing that with me. Let me just ask you though, what do you do to get into a peak state? Like when you got like a big test and you need to study, or you need to focus, or a big conversation that a lot's depending on. What do you do to prepare for those moments?
Meditate. And you take deep breaths. That could do a lot too. And you just, because it clears the mind. And sometimes listening to music too, I like, that helps kind of distract me and kind of get me to be at a calm state. So that definitely helps.
I love it. I have meditated every day for over 10 years, and it really has been the staple that keeps me calm and focused and resilient on a day-to-day basis. I had a video sent to me, and I wish I had the link. I have to go back and share it. But it was of a jar filled with water, like a snow globe, and glitter. And so you shake it up, and all the glitter's everywhere, and that's what your brain looks like when you're just running around with it ragged, you know. But through meditation, you take the glitter to the bottom of the jar and it clears out, and you can think clearly in the clearness. So I thought that was a perfect analogy for meditation. But I really feel that on a physical level. So yes, meditation, again, another chapter of a book. If you're watching this, by the way, I'm not plugging my book to sell it. You get the chapters for free. So all you have to do is email, get your resource file afterwards. So make sure you get that. But yes, meditation is key. You can also go to YouTube, right? And just Google 5-minute guided meditation. Keyword guided is your friend, right? 10-minute guided meditation, or maybe you're really stressed, 60-minute guided meditation, right? So yes, meditation is key. And classical music actually calms your brain and makes you work more effectively. Also, gamer music, go figure. Apparently people play video games, it keeps you focused. I don't know. Anyways, but yes, okay. So meditation and music is what you do to put yourself in a peak state. Sarah, what about you? What do you do to put yourself in a peak state?
Funny enough, I blast rock music and clean my house.
You know, hey, I get it.
That's my go-to when I get stressed before a big event and I need to clear my mind and get ready for it, because I go through and I declutter everything in the house, get it clean, and it's kind of like a metamorphosis. My house gets clean and cleared of things, my brain gets clean and cleared of things, and I just blast the music and sing and dance as I go, and it's a great workout, and then the house is clean too.
Hey, I get it. Special shout out to Christopher McDonald, UHV alum, and he's working over at the Gulf Bend Center and working in mental health and helping individuals. And his number one tip at the end of the day, we were talking about pivoting when life kicks you in the teeth. His number one tip was clean your room. If you're stressed and life has kicked you in the teeth, clean your room and you'll figure it out, you know? And so there's actually some real psychology also behind cleaning your room. And it does, in fact, replicate to an inner calmness. So yes, declutter and clean that mess. Thank you, Sarah. All right. So now you put yourself in a peak state. All right. We know how you deal with stress. But what about this long-term strategy? Do you have a mentor, Miss Abigail?
I do. When I hit the low point of my life, I reached out to the advisor. Not only did she help me academically, but she had also helped me emotionally and mentally. And I think reaching out to her, and of course, with the graces of people, church, family, friends, helping me kind of like, okay, you know, you could stay at the house if you need a place to stay for like the holidays or whatever, or, you know, when I didn't know how to apply for college, I mean, she helped me kind of figure out, okay, well, you go to the, I forget that website, where you apply for college, the something Texas.
Apply Texas, you got
Apply Texas, there you go, yes. So it's definitely for those kind of people to kind of step in and just do a little bit, kind of helped me a little bit, definitely was a big support for me.
Oh, I absolutely love this. What you're saying is that you do have people who are supportive to you. What a concept, you know? Studies have shown that actually having a long-term relationship with someone is one of the biggest success factors for former foster youth. One of the statistics that breaks my heart is less than 3% of the former foster youth go on to college, let alone graduate, but just 3% go to college, compared to 20% on the national average of the general population that graduate from college. So you're really a one percenter, you know, in every sense. And one of those key factors has been actually having a long-term person in your corner. So maybe you're not a former foster youth if you're out there listening to this. But if you are keeping in contact with someone who's had a hard childhood or is going through something, you can be that person who helps them break the odds. So investing in your relationships is another chapter in Great and Graduate. I'm just saying, I didn't plan any of this. I didn't script it. This is all real. So thank you for this. Okay, so again, we talk a lot about getting mentors here. That's why I wanted to ask that question. And by the way, I just want to give a little update, as I am former foster youth, so I want to share too, is that I didn't have a actual formal mentor my entire life. And I really struggled. I piecemealed and did a patchwork quilt of people in my life to get to where I am. And I didn't get here alone, don't get me wrong, but I didn't have one person who saw me through. But recently, through this Bridge to Brilliance and talking about getting a mentor, I had to take my own medicine. And there's another powerful woman in my company, and I asked her if she'd be my mentor, and she said she would be so honored. And so I have a formal mentor, and we are meeting tomorrow, and we meet on a monthly basis, and it has skyrocketed my success. So I just special shout out to my mentor, Alyssa. I'm so grateful for that. So again, if you're out there, whether you're foster youth or not, and you don't have a mentor, take the time, get a mentor. It will increase your success. So hopefully by this point, you're hearing motion is connected to emotion, right? So if you break and change how you feel and move and do, you can break through stress. Hopefully you're also hearing that if you're able to connect with somebody long-term, it's going to also increase your success. Hopefully you also hear that not everybody who was in the foster care system for even one day can be eligible for free tuition waiver, possibly, as well as a tremendous other resources. So I just want to really emphasize this, that you do have daily habits in place, Abigail, and sometimes we don't even realize it, right? That set you up for success. You've shared about being in nature, taking deep breaths, going for a walk, going for a run, doing yoga, meditating, phoning a friend, having a mentor. These are key things that have helped you be successful. And I'm just so grateful that you're here to be able to share that good news. And I just pour blessings all over you, and everything you touch may just turn to gold. I got one more question though, before we wrap it up.
Of course.
What would you say to somebody who's sitting there paralyzed in fear? They don't think that they're good enough to go to school. Nobody they've ever known has gone to school. They don't think they'd be successful in school. Maybe they've had a poor experience in school up to this point, and they're just paralyzed, and they don't think they can do college, whatever college is, vocational training, associates, 4-year, whatever that means, but they don't know if they can do it. What would you say to them?
I would say reach out to advisor. It could be a friend, somebody, and tell them your situation. It's okay to get help, because I was in that boat almost 7 years ago, and I really can't stress enough, if I could do it all over again, just ask for help. Don't be embarrassed of your situation, because that's how I felt. I felt that nobody was going to understand my situation, and I wasn't meant to have a purpose in life. And I really, really strongly would advise that to anybody and from any background, to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to kind of vent out and kind of let them know your situation, because they will have a lot of resources, especially advisors. The advisors there at U of HB have a lot of resources that I didn't even know about, and I think that's something that people who are in that boat, go ahead and ask for help.
This is so good. And yes, 100%. If you're out there, ask for help, get clarity. I know I'm adopting my daughter as well. And we're trying to do career planning. She's 17, just imagine. And we found just recently, she was not excited about college. And just recently, this last weekend, we found a 4-semester equine vet tech program. And now she's over the moon about it. And it's doable. And she's like, I actually would go to school for that, So find that thing that gets you pumped. If you like horses, go work with horses. If you want to, find that thing that you are really excited about and reach out, ask for help. And that also goes for entrepreneurs too. You know, there's a tremendous resource through the SBDC right here at UHV, right? You can get access to free business mentoring. They can help you. If you haven't just an idea, they can help you through the paperwork. If you have an existing business, they can take it to the next level. And then SCORE is another great free mentors where retired successful business entrepreneurs give back for free mentoring. That's SCORE. So again, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a student, ask for help. Don't feel alone. Don't isolate yourself. Getting education actually is the greatest tool to conquering fear. If you're feeling fear and you're paralyzed by it, chances are you don't have all the information you need to make a decision. The other thing I want to offer to you is if you're out there and you talked to somebody and you got the information, you found a program you're kind of interested in, but you're still not able to move forward, I offer to you that you may need to forgive someone. And that may be the last thing you thought I was going to say right now. But I know from my experience, you know, my mother left when I was 11. She took everything I owned. She took my bike, my books, my toys, my clothes, and she left in the middle of the night and did not say goodbye and did not leave a forwarding address for that matter. And so I was very upset, you can imagine. And that really defined me for a while. But when I finally realized, I think I was like 27, 28, I finally realized that that wasn't easy for her. You know, it wasn't easy for her to pack up in the middle of the night. At least wasn't easy. She didn't enjoy it. She wasn't, you know, drinking a cocktail, right? She was rushing and stressed and anxious, I'm sure. And through that, I found empathy. So I do have a chapter on forgiveness as well. If you don't allow yourself to live an incredible life, chances are you may need to forgive somebody. So, and that goes for you entrepreneurs. Don't think I'm just talking to foster youth. You may need to forgive someone to take your business to the next level. So get ready because that is on the table. All right. With that, thank you so much, Miss Abigail. I'm so grateful that you have come on to share your story, and I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing. And I know you're going to be a big success. I sure hope we can stay in contact, and I can be some form of a mentor to you as well.
Absolutely.
I'm so honored by that we're connected.
And thank you for having me here. It was definitely a treat to be a part of this.
Oh, thank you, Miss Abigail. All right. So, well, with that, you know the fun's not over. We're going to do a quick wrap up on this, and I want to really emphasize some of the statistics. Look, I really have a double-sided coin here that I want to emphasize here as we're wrapping up, right? Kyle, you know well and true, you've heard me talk about it, that I believe trauma unlocks superpowers, right? I believe that if you went through the foster care system or you were part of, you know, maybe your parents split up or you were somehow abused or neglected or experienced homelessness or poverty or, you know, whatever that means to you, I believe that gives you a deeper well of understanding. I believe that makes you a more passionate person. I believe that makes you more grateful for the basic necessities in life, which gives you a higher level of excitement and gratitude in your life. And turns out studies show apparently 7 out of 10 entrepreneurs attribute childhood trauma as the main reason for their catalyst. So Kyle, I want to just really hone in on this because I don't want people to feel beat up by the fact that there's some real science and data connecting childhood trauma to some actual physical illnesses. What's your thoughts on that? Before I'm going to give a few statistics here just to really reinforce that, but what's your thoughts so far?
Yeah, Crystal, I would agree 100%, right? Really the past of a, you know, traumatic childhood or really anything that really hurt you in the past, like that is what's going to help you launch yourself in the future and really just go for greatness. Like just simply put out there is going for greatness because, you know, when you faced those lows of lows, you know, you are going to be better, right? You know, it's going to be better along the way because you've got through it. You've pushed yourself through these times and nothing, you know, and the things in the future now are just going to be a little easier because you've made yourself push through and you had those breakthroughs. You broke through that threshold. And, you know, Crystal, I want to hone down on that point as well about forgiveness because that was so powerful what you mentioned. And so if anybody's carrying a rock out there that's dragging you down, set the rock down. It's okay. Set it down and move on and forgive, you know, whatever you're holding on to because you need to move past it for that greatness. And so, Abigail, thank you so much for sharing your story. You know, despite the odds, what I hear is you're very intentional to finding the right people to support you along your journey. And all you had to do was ask. And you understood yourself to help you self-soothe through the process by running, through yoga, through meditating, and you trusted that process to move forward. So thank you, Abigail, for sharing your story.
Absolutely. And again, I can't emphasize enough, Abigail's talking about daily practices that she's put into place. But if you don't do this, right? Okay, if you just are like the general population and you just wake up, you have to be at work by 8, so you jump out of bed at 7:15, you stumble to work, you have no like real way to take care of yourself. You go through work, you go home, you fall on your face and do whatever you do in the evenings and do nothing, take care of yourself, and then wake up the next day. If you go through that life and you answer a 4 out of 10 on the ACE score, then you're 32 times more likely to have a learning or a behavior problem. You're 12 times more likely to commit suicide. You're 7 times more likely to be an alcoholic, 10 times more likely to have illegal drugs, 4.6 times more likely to suffer from depression. But what you may not also realize is that there is a real connection to being diagnosed with lung cancer, kidney cancer, brain cancer. And this is life-threatening illness. If you answer yes to 6 or more on an adverse childhood experience, you actually die 20 years younger on average than somebody with a score of 0. So I do not sit here and say this to you lightly as a person who had to overcome these odds. It is a daily struggle. I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day and I do an hour walk. I take time to journal. I set my goals. I do at least 10 minutes of yoga and I meditate for 30 minutes. And I've been told that I've extended my telomeres and increased my neuroplasticity so that I am not on track to die younger. Okay, so that is something that I am passionate about telling the world, is that yes, there are some statistics that will connect actual childhood trauma to a shorter lifespan, but you are in the driver's seat. You are in control of your future, and it's up to you to look at who you are becoming. And the way you look at that is by your daily habits. What are the things you do every single day? Is it bad mouthing and negativity and stumbling through life? Or is it you taking time to be proactive and intentional with your life? Because again, this is for foster youth. This is for entrepreneurs. This is for students. Where are you going? What is your daily habit? And how can you self-soothe? Once you figure that out, you can overcome any challenges that you are faced with and live intentionally each day. So again, I can't emphasize enough, and hopefully I've emphasized that being a former foster youth is a badge of honor and you should wear it like one as such. It gives you a deeper well of creativity, makes you more likely to be a successful entrepreneur, and sets you up for the most incredible experience of life. Because when your pendulum goes down and you experience a deep well, it also goes equally to the other side and you experience and blossom as an individual and inspire those around you. So do not feel overwhelmed by the statistics, but use it as a wake-up call that you need to live intentionally and you cannot sit by like the general population and just and not have a daily habit just because somebody else does it. You have to fight for your life like you're training for the Olympics. And I mean that from the very bottom of my heart. And it is worth fighting for, folks. You are worth fighting for. You matter. So take the time every day to self-soothe and take time to invest in yourself so that you can then invest in the lives of others. So again, I'm very passionate about this, clearly, and I want to give away my books. Look, Kyle Mothall has purchased 3 of these, and actually he purchased 6 because we're going to give these away to the former foster youth who are going to be, or who were interviewed today and leading up to today. We're going to make sure they get their copies of it. So Kyle, your generosity is much appreciated. I want to see here. I know we got some Woodrow, we got some Dr. D in here. I'm looking at the comments. I see Sarah, Rosemary. Okay, let's see, Kyle. I don't know if we have any participants who have commented yet, but there's still hope. So if you're watching this and you want your copy, you can still be in the running by commenting anything that you got from today's workshop. So again, I want to just say kudos to all the foster youth out there. Happy National Foster Care Month, and make sure you are aware of the resources that are available to you. If you self-identify in the FAFSA, you can get a free tuition waiver if you take 1 class before you're 25 years old. Look at that, Luna, you get a copy. Look at that, Luna, she says, hey, Crystal, love your passion, special shout out to Miss Stephanie Luna. She is a bright light for anybody who hasn't met her. So make sure if you have been in foster care for even one day, or you think you may be eligible, if you are a homeless or a foster youth, or excuse me, a homeless youth, or you are in kinship care, or you're adopted, you may be eligible for these resources. Please reach out to Miss Sarah. Rosie, can you drop Sarah's contact information in the chat, please? So again, you may be eligible for the JP Market, the Career Closet, the JCPenney's partnership, student work, campus housing, scholarships. All of this is available to you. It doesn't matter if you emancipated. Things have changed, folks. So with that, let's see here. I just want to say there's an opportunity to get connected using Handshake. Is that right, Kyle? Tell us, what is this Handshake?
Handshake is brought to you by Career Services. Amy Hatmaker and her team, they have put together a platform to where not only can you look for jobs, but you can also apply to get a mentor. And so like we heard earlier with Abigail and Crystal, how mentors are so important. And this is definitely a way for you to get a mentor to help you along this journey.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So make sure you go to the Handshake. I see we have a hand up. Is it Ralph, Mr. Ralph?
Yeah, I, Christy. I'm sorry I've not been able to send in my comment. I mean, I've been enjoying the discussion. I'm actually driving, so I'm sorry for that. But I've been listening. I mean, the topic is so inspiring. I mean, it's changed a lot about. I've learned a lot about this discussion. How you can actually love yourself. You know, when there is life, there is hope. You know, they even say that it's actually tough situations don't last. It's actually tough men that last. So I mean, those are the key words that I've taken from this discussion. That no matter the situation you find yourself, once you have life, you must believe in yourself. You must love yourself, and you must keep on empowering yourselves. I mean, there's a book of Stephen Covey that I like a lot, that I read many times. The book of Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I mean, those are the things that I meditate every day of my life, you know, and so I've really enjoyed the discussion. I'm sorry I didn't put in any comment, but I really enjoyed a lot about what we've been talking about. I enjoyed the discussion from the USC lady. You know, so it's so inspiring. I'm sorry I've been driving, but I enjoyed the topic. I enjoyed the discussion. Thank you, Krista. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you. Rosie, do we have a way to be able to send him one of our books as well?
Oh,
yes, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if I could get a copy of the book.
Yes, you chimed in. I appreciate that. I have one right here. I'm going to write you a personal message here. So thank you for that. We still have one more copy. That's 2. So we still have one. Yes, absolutely. And Rosie, are you able to follow up with that to get the address?
Oh, yes, I'll follow up with Ralph.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, again, we still have a couple. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your comment. It really made it worthwhile. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking into the abyss. So it's nice to get something back. It really means a lot. And it takes a lot of courage too. So thank you. Now, with that, again, we have a couple minutes left, and I just can't emphasize enough, you know, I'm going to tell you to download your resource file and all that, but I just want to also just share, we are taking the summer off. So I know students are getting ready to finish school and perhaps are distracted. So we're taking the summer off and we're coming back big and strong in September. Get ready. We've got some really, really big guests and topics planned. So you're not going to want to miss this. It will be on the second Tuesday of the month at 4 p.m. starting in September. So mark your calendars. We've got some big stuff planned. Also, if you have topics or you want to be involved behind the scenes or you want to be on camera like Kyle over here or myself, just go ahead and email Rosemary and I'll go ahead and drop her email in as well so that we can make sure that we get you connected. There is a great opportunity. Oops, apparently it went really big. There's a great opportunity to be involved, and we are looking for people to support. So please do let us know if you want to help out or be on camera. With that, I want you to fill out your survey. We need your feedback. Look, this is how we get paid. We are here because we care about you and we want to make sure that you're getting something out of this. So please do make sure you take the time to fill out that survey. I can't emphasize enough how much that means to us. Also download your resource file. That's how you get access to the Grit and Gratitude, the digital chapters. I'm going to get you some access to those included. There's also some other really great resources in there that our team and our planning committee have put together. And then also, I want you to get connected with UHB Career Resources. They have the tools to help you become to get what you need to become who you need to become. So, Kyle, what are we going to say as we're wrapping this up here? We are in our final moments.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the big statement here I want to make is that if you have questions, ask people and they will help you. They will find the right resource for you to really answer that question and move you along your journey, because we are here to help. And get a mentor, because that's so important.
Absolutely. I got a mentor and doubled my sales. So within the month. So it's like magic. No, seriously, it really did double my sales. And it really is like magic. So yes, get a mentor, ask a friend, learn to meditate. And if you've got questions about meditation, I'll send you my meditation chapter. And even better, just practice some deep breaths. You don't even got to know how to do anything special other than just breathe it in and breathe it out. But again, none of this is going to happen if you don't believe you matter. So take the time to understand, to forgive, to grow, to be, and know that you're important. And then from there, you can build an incredible life. And it's really exciting to be able to live your best life. That's what I'm doing every single day. And I'm humbled and grateful to be here today. And I wouldn't be who I am without what I went through. So I am grateful beyond measure that I was able to go through the foster care system and be abandoned by my parents so that I can stand here today and be able to inspire others around me. This is my gift to the world. So I won't be talking about foster care in the next one. So thanks for listening about foster care stuff with me. I wish y'all a fabulous afternoon. And again, download your resource file, do your actual survey. And I want to say thank you so much to the people who made this possible, the bridge builders, our planning committee. We also have the Department of School Business Administration. We have our student liaison and support, our co-curricular liaison. Special shout out to Ludra Wagner, Sherilyn Hodge, Dr. Mark Ward. Thank you so much to all of the people who are making this possible. And the actual School of Arts and Science Department of Communication has been a pillar in this. So thank you. And why not give a special shout out to the Dean's Advisory Board, where all of this came from, was originated on those conversations. So thank y'all so much. It's 5 o'clock. We're going to go, but we appreciate you, and mark your calendars. The second Tuesday in September, 4 p.m. We're coming back. Get ready, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.
See y'all next time.